Hello, everyone. Ones in the chat, if you can hear me, hit the like button, please. Hit the like button, hit the like button. Give me some ones in the chat if you can hear me. Some very, very interesting things to talk about. Very interesting things to talk about. Give me some ones in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you. All right, cool. Hit the like button if you don't mind. Once again, as a reminder, if you have not done so as of yet, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter so I can have another way to connect with you all. That would be dope. Yeah. To my Patreon members, I promise I'm going to try to have something out by the end of the week. Just give me time. This Charlie Kirk situation is just very difficult not to talk about it. As this stuff, it's very difficult to ignore it, exposing evil. Right? It's very difficult not to do it. Right? So a lot of things have been put on hold, and I paused several of my projects, but they're coming. I promise you, they're coming. If you subscribe to my Patreon, it will not be a waste. I promise you. All right. I want to keep talking about this because this is very important, which, by the way, let me put this on the screen. I think you all will find this interesting. So remember yesterday we were talking about this image right here. And I said, I'm trying to be fair here. And so I got a friend of mine that I talked to earlier today who held the belief to the contrary of mine. Like, he feels differently than I do. And his belief, I said, let me ask you a question, bro. I said, if something like this happened, God forbid it, and you're wearing sunglasses, which, by the way, he had on sunglasses very similar to these gentlemen. I said, what would be the natural thing for you to do? Would it be to take your glasses off so that you can see a little bit better, so that you can have nothing protruding your vision, or would you just immediately go after? And he said, honestly, he will keep his glasses on because his glasses are prescription. I said, no. But what I'm saying is these guys, I don't know if their glasses look like prescription. I know that's difficult to tell because they come in many different shapes and sizes, but I don't know if their glasses were prescription. I said, would that not get in the way of being able to perfectly see? And he was like, I understand where you're coming from, but personally, it just depends. So I just wanted to bring that to you all because I still find it very suspicious that it's not just these three. It wasn't just these three. These are just the three that I use as an example. The two or three other people that came behind the table, all of them were wearing sunglasses. That's weird to me, Somebody said, yes, I'm a nurse. Sunglasses off first. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. That's all. But we got some interesting things to talk about. I'm not going to waste much time. Please hit the like button if you do not mind. Yeah, I've heard all the theories. People say that they're recording with the glasses. I don't know if that's true or not. I know that they do have that technology. So I'm not even going to make that claim. But what I will say is that at the very least, to me, it almost gives me the impression that you're just not wanting us to see where your eyeballs are. Right? The eyes are the windows to the soul. But not just that, if we can see the direction of where you're looking, because it appears to me that they're looking at different things. It's just very interesting to me. But let's back up a little bit. When everything first happened, if you all remember, finally, I just remember something. Finally, more people other than Candace Owens are finally asking the right questions. All questions that, like I said, it was inevitable. You were going to eventually have to turn attention to Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's closest friends, some of his family members, supposedly. Why is no one talking about this? And I think I found out why. Why is no one talking about this? Why is Candace Owens the one person who was friends with Charlie Kirk but wasn't immediately a part of his circle, so to speak, right? What do all of the people who seem to have not much of anything to say, what do they have in common that's different from Candace Owens, even though they're all friends with Charlie Kirk? Many of them were actually there. You're going to understand why that's important here in a second. Many of them were actually there. Now, PBD Podcast, Patrick Bet David, Vinny and the crew, finally, now all of a sudden, they're asking the right questions. Because at first, I felt like they were being neutral, right? I think they were trying to show respect to the family, which I understand, because they actually brush shoulders with these people, unlike myself. I may never see these people a day in my life, but they will have to see them. So if you say something that's considered insensitive, you know, you may get addressed. You may get a phone call. Similar to how Candace Owens has yet addressed the number one or the number two biggest elephant in the room, Erica Kirk. But we've discussed that. There's something else I want to discuss. What I would like to discuss is, remember when everything first happened? If you all have been following the channel, if you've been catching my lives, then you'll remember this part. I said I'd be very interested to know, because remember when the pow powing first happened, Charlie Kirk, what was the last word that was said? Do anybody remember? Because he was being asked about the transgender pow powings, right? Somebody said, why is he smiling? Yeah, I know. I'm going to put that back on the screen. This person is smirking to me. Until somebody can prove otherwise, he's smirking to me. But what was the last thing that violence, right? He was being asked about violence. The first thing I said when that came out, I said, So I literally have a series on this channel called More Than a Coincidence. And I said, is it just a coincidence? Somebody said, this dude looks happy. I agree. Is it more than a coincidence that he was being asked about transgender pow powings, and he was being asked, and his response had the word violence in it? I said it almost seemed perfect. Too perfect. Everything does not have to be a conspiracy, though. I'm with you. I agree. But follow me. This is, you all can go to my videos and you will be able to see that I'm not lying. I literally said I'd be interested to know what Turning Point USA's priming or what their vetting process is at these events. What I mean is, before the event officially kicks off, I wonder if some sort of Turning Point USA representative speaks to the audience and says, hey, who all has a question for Charlie Kirk? People will raise their hands. I wonder if they number people like in a certain position. I wonder if they ask the person prior, what is your question for Charlie Kirk? Whether that be so that they can agree that it's an appropriate question, or they can tell Charlie Kirk ahead of time what question is coming his way. But I doubt it, because it would be too many people. But regardless, I said, I wonder what the process is when they're asking questions. Do they know what's going to be asked beforehand? Because is it a coincidence that he was being asked about pow powings when it happened? Then I consider all of I consider what I just said with the people that was around Charlie Kirk that was doing all these weird head taps and, hand signals right before everything happened. I said, okay, there's something I want to show you all. I found the guy who was actually asking Charlie Kirk the question. Hit the like button on your way in, please. Oh, yeah. By the way, before I forget, did you all know this guy right here, the one that we're saying smirking? I'm going to try to find a photo before the live ends. This guy that looks like he's smirking, do you all know who he used to work for? He may still work for him currently. This guy that was a part of Charlie Kirk's security detail that looks like he's smirking right here, he was also a part of the intelligence for Bibi Netanyahu. I'm going to get the photos for you. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up right now. Y'all know I like to back up everything that I say so that I don't come off as crazy. Boom, got it. I'm about to pull it up here in less than 30 seconds. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. He used to work for Bibi Netanyahu. What does that mean? I don't know. Because I told you all, I no longer believe that he was pow-powed. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you all this image. Check it out. It says Benjamin Netanyahu is surrounded by his security detail as he talks to the media after arriving with his wife Sarah at Sydney Airport. Look at who this is. It's the same guy. It's the same guy. What in the world? What in the world? That's crazy. But that's not even the craziest part of this live. Watch this. So I found the guy who was the student or whoever he is asking Charlie Kirk, who asked Charlie Kirk the question when Charlie Kirk was supposedly pow, right? Let me show you all what this guy was doing before Charlie Kirk even arrived. Watch this. I don't know if you all have seen this. One sec.
Okay, this is that Hunter guy that asked Charlie the question right before he was shot. And this is him literally. Charlie hasn't even gotten there yet. The crowd's still waiting on him. And he keeps making that same gesture that he made right when Charlie was shot that we've all seen. And everyone's like, oh, he's so traumatized. Like, look, why would he even be doing that? That's very odd. And just something to look at. Yet again, something weird that stands out and doesn't make any sense. Why would you be doing that before Charlie even arrived? So is this just a random coincidence, or is he literally preparing for how he's going to react because he knew it was coming?
Well, you all should know what my position is. Absolutely, he was preparing. Who's standing? A different man. That's not a different man. That's the same man. I don't know. I'm gonna stop looking at the comments. Can anyone explain this behavior? So before Charlie Kirk even arrives, the student, and I said this at the beginning, I said, I wonder who the student was, and I wonder if he was told. Not even like anything conspiratorial. I was just saying, I wonder if someone told him, hey, or they asked the crowd, do you have anything to ask about gun violence or about transgenders? And if you do, they timed it so that they can have a certain person come up at a certain time. That's what I was considering. But I'm going to tell you all what I think is going on, but we'll get there later in the video, where I think some of these students came from. I'm going to play this clip again. If this does not blow your mind, I don't know what will. Why would he be doing this repetitively? Right? Repeatedly. Before Charlie Kirk even arrived. And I'm just going to say, it's very interesting to me that he reacted this way. I'm not saying that no one reacts that way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not making that argument. I'm going to just say this. That's usually what you see in the movies. Am I tripping? I understand that it gets deeper. I get it. I know. It depends on the person. I know. Hit the like button, everybody. Let's play this again.
Okay, this is that Hunter guy that asked Charlie the question right before he was shot. And this is him literally. Charlie hasn't even gotten there yet. The crowd's still waiting on him.
What is he doing?
And he keeps making that same gesture that he made right when Charlie was shot that we've all seen. And everyone's like, oh, he's so traumatized. Like, look, why would he even be doing that? That's very odd. And just something to look at. Yet again, something weird that stands out and doesn't make any sense. Why would you be doing that before Charlie even arrived?
The same exact pose.
So is this just a random coincidence, or is he literally preparing for how he's going to react because he knew it was coming?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Let me show you all something else. Does this image right here look familiar to anybody? Does this picture right here look familiar to anybody? Have anybody seen this clip? This is a still shot from a video that went viral. Does anybody know what this is? No, this is a different person. So let me tell you all who this guy is. So this guy just went viral, and I'm about to show you all the video. There was a student, because remember, one of the biggest red flags is that we have not heard from Turning Point USA. Erica Kirk has obviously spoken 2 or 3 times, and we can all agree that she's been weird. And then Frank Turek, the guy in the white hat. Apparently, he has an entire YouTube channel. I didn't even know this. It's called what is his YouTube channel called? It's called Cross Examined by Frank Turek. Cross Examined. And it's a pretty popular channel, at least subscriber wise. Apparently, he's been talking about it, and he's been contradicting himself. Right? This guy went viral because remember, everybody, Turning Point USA is $100 million 501c3 nonprofit, right? They have chapters all over the country at different colleges, but they also have chapters at several different high schools. In fact, I believe they have more chapters in high schools than they do in college. Why is this important? Because each campus has their own cohort of Turning Point USA students that's been recruited, and most of them, if not all of them, are purported to be Christians, right? Purported to be Christians. I'm going somewhere with this because I got something that's going to be very, very interesting that I found out about Utah. These students are a part of a program. Many of these students in Utah are part of a program, but we're going to get there, that we're going to find very interesting. Let me show you all the video because there was one student that actually tried to tell everybody what he saw from Turning Point USA. Remember, we do not say the BLOOD word. We say liquid or red liquid, right? So I've edited this video so that he does not say it. Listen to what he said or what he tried to tell us and watch what happens. Watch what happens.
Standing from probably the 3rd row in the bottom, I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
We're not doing this.
Get off me. Get off me.
Emotions are running high right now.
So did y'all see that? I'm going to play it over. This student is trying to tell this random guy recording what he saw. Another Turning Point USA student, which is the guy that was in the picture, he walks over, and not only does he stop him, it's one thing to try to verbally stop someone from speaking. It's a completely different thing when you come over and physically try to, I mean, by definition, it's assault. You physically come over to wrestle with him. You want him to stop talking about it that badly. Let's play it again.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
We're not doing this.
Get off me. Get off me.
What is this?
Emotions are running high right now.
Emotions are running high. This guy said emotions are running high. That's not what? Hold up. He's trying to he just witnessed something that traumatized him or supposedly traumatized him. He's just innocently sharing that experience. Why would another student go to that length to prevent him from just talking about something that anybody should want him to share? Why would you do that? I'm about to tell you why. So I found this guy's social media. This guy right here. I found his social media. And his social media has since been deleted. To my understanding, I have not been able to find it. His social media has been deleted. All right. I'm going to play it one more time. Some of you are asking. I'm going to play it one more time.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
We're not doing this.
Get off me. Get off me.
Emotions are running high right now.
What? Okay. So this kid right here, I found him on social media, and he actually says why it is that we have not heard from many of these Turning Point USA members. He's going to tell us what they were told. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, so the words are really small here, but I'm going to read it for everybody to understand. Okay, serious question. So someone comments under this person's social media account. They say, okay, serious question. Why did these guys in another video tell you to stop interviewing? Were they part of TPUSA? He responded and said, yes, they were. They told us not to talk to the media. Someone replied and said, why not? You're a witness. You had every right to inform the public as to what you witnessed. Weird. Seems like narrative control. But why is this video with the media okay? And that one wasn't. Did they make you sign an NDA? Hold on. Let me see if I can get that last little part. He says, no, there was no paperwork to sign. They just told us not to talk to the media. So I want you all to understand something. Let's just consider something for a second. You just witnessed or supposedly witnessed something gruesome. You're randomly interviewed immediately afterwards, and your classmates who are part of Turning Point USA come over and physically stop you from interviewing. But not only do they physically stop you from interviewing, you then come out and say they told the entire Turning Point USA not to talk to the media. Why? Why would you be told not to talk to the media? I'm not understanding. Am I missing something? This is the guy that was physically assaulting him, preventing him from from talking. Let me show you all where he was stationed. Where was he at when everything took place? Because this kid right here speaking said, with the 47 on his hat, he says that he was about 3 rows back in the audience. Let me show you where this guy who just physically stopped him from interviewing and sharing what he witnessed, let me show you where he was stationed. So here's one picture. There he is right there. That's the same guy. And I'm going to show you how close he was to Charlie Kirk. There he is right there. And here's another picture. It's the same guy. This is him. He, first and foremost, before I show you the video, you already know that he's super close because he's in front of the entire audience. So he can only be so far away from Charlie Kirk. Secondly, that's I presume this to be part of the security detail. This guy standing here with the black shirt. He's right here by the security detail. There was only a select few people that was allowed that close. Maybe 15 to 20 people that was that close to Charlie Kirk. There wasn't many of them, right? Maybe 15, 20. He was one of them. This guy right here, the same guy who is now stopping people from sharing what they saw. Look at this. Now let me play the video so you can get a landscape look, an outlook of how close he was.
People, you tell you what.
Boom, he's right there.
For a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
All right, I'm gonna circle it back. Boom, that's the guy right there. I've already shown, and I'll go back to the picture. I've already showed you all a close up. That's him right there. Look how close he was to Charlie Kirk.
We're gonna be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best.
Boom, he's right there. What is that? 5-10 feet. He's about 10 feet away. He's about 10 feet away from Charlie Kirk. Right? That's him right here. This is the same kid. Right? That's him. Out here manhandling another kid who's just trying to share what he saw. And now he's come out and said, they told us we're not allowed to talk to the media. Who behaves that way? Who behaves that way? Unless you have something to hide. So the kid who was asking Charlie Kirk a question appeared to be rehearsing his reaction, which is the identical thing he did when everything happened. Why is this kid giving no interviews? He was literally the kid that was asking a question. Where's his video? You know how we know for a fact without even looking if any of these people have given interviews or came out on social media and shared their testimony? We know because it would have went viral. It would have been everywhere. Right? Right? There's something else I want to show you all. So, the biggest question, or one of the biggest questions a person could ask me is, okay, Didi, are you saying that these children were a part of the pow powing? Well, if you have been following the channel, at least since yesterday, then you will know that I don't believe that anybody lost their life that day. I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. I did at one point. I don't anymore. And one of the biggest reasons is the live we did a couple of days ago when we analyzed the behavior of all the people that was around Charlie Kirk. So what I originally came to was Charlie Kirk was betrayed. They betrayed that man. But then when I watched this video that this still shot right here is from, I was like, bro, there's no red liquid anywhere on anyone, anywhere. It will be everywhere, y'all. I don't want to repeat everything that I've already been saying, but the point that I'm getting at is this is what arrived or helped me arrive to the conclusion. All of this is not what we think it was. The same friend that I told you all I spoke to, he's one of those people, he's not big into conspiracies, and I respect it because he wants to live his life and focus on his life, and I get it. And I was letting him know, like, I respect that. I care because the government uses moments like this. A lot of these moments, I've since learned over the past few years, are manufactured. As much as we don't want to believe that, some of these situations are manufactured. And then they use it to change laws. But more importantly, they'll use it to get people to consent to having their rights taken away. They do it to divide us. They do it to make us think that it's left versus right. I just so happen to believe in Jesus Christ. I just so happen to believe that the Holy Scriptures or the Bible, as many of you know it to be, the Holy Bible, is the greatest book ever written. And it's not even close. They want people like myself to only look at people on the left or look at people who don't believe in God and think that it's a political fight when it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. There was no red liquid on anyone in this video. Everything changed for me after that. There's no red liquid leaking or dripping anywhere on the way to the car. I'm going to say this again, and then I'm going to show you all probably the most damning part of the entire video. I'm going to repeat this phrase. Remember, there's no red liquid, no police, no campus police, no caution tape, no bullet, no media at the hospital, no testimonies of anyone that was immediately in that little circle. And now we know why they were told not to talk to the media, which is the opposite of what you should be told. Why would you care? Why would you care? Why are only two people, Frank Turek and Erica Kirk, the only two that have given public statements of this magnitude? Why? You upset with me because I'm noticing? No autopsy. What am I missing here? No, exactly. Charlie's family wasn't at the funeral. There's no GSR that was proven to be on Tyler Robinson. Right? Now, many people will say, okay, what are you getting at? Are you saying that these children were a part of it? I'm not saying all of them, But the ones that had that weird behavior, because remember, this is why it was important for me to reiterate to you all how Turning Point USA is structured. There's Turning Point USA, and then there's Turning Point Action. Turning Point USA is the 501c3. It's the big dog. That's the way to think about it. The subsidiary, or one of the subsidiaries, is Turning Point Action. But underneath Turning Point USA, they had chapters all across the country. Let me show you a program that they have at the University of Utah that I guarantee many of you didn't know about. Did you know that they have a program? Let me make sure I get this name right. That is called the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence. They have a program at the University of Utah called the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence. Let me pull it up. Hit the like button, everybody. So hold on one sec. Let me make sure I get this right. So something that's very weird though. Well, let me pull it up first for you. So there's a organization. So at the Utah State University, there's an organization called the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, College of Arts and Sciences. Now, when I first looked this up, let me show you all what I got. I didn't get the screen that you just saw. Instead, I got this right here. I went to like 5 different links, everybody, and it says page not found. So there's a version of this organization that we're about to talk about, or this program, that has since been deleted. Why was it deleted? I don't know. But there's like 4 or 5 different links that's no longer available. I don't know what that's about. But let me show you all what this organization is about. It says Center for Anticipatory Intelligence. Due to unfounded misinformation circulating online, following statement. Tyler Robinson attended the Logan campus briefly for 1 semester in fall 2021. Was a pre-engineering major and took classes consistent with that major, after which he took a leave of absence. He was not involved with the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, did not have contact with CAI faculty, and did not attend any CAI activities. The Center for Anticipatory Intelligence is a strictly academic, classroom-based program. Now, what is this organization? It's the Master of Anticipatory Intelligence is a nationally path-breaking professional degree program that uniquely presents students from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so STEM, social science, and other disciplinary backgrounds to anticipate, listen to this, to anticipate and successfully navigate complex emergent security challenges across a wide range of fields and industries. What does that mean? The MAI is the nation's first graduate degree in the field of anticipatory intelligence, responding to a significant upswell in labor market demand across the U.S. public and private sectors for security-focused graduates and professionals from a wide range of disciplinary backgrounds who possess advanced training in both hard and soft skills of security thinking, structured toolkits for system-level threat assessment and resilient design, and sophistication in interdisciplinary analysis and synthesis regarding complex and emergent. I'm going to stop reading this. You know why I'm going to stop reading it? Because whenever you see programs that's wording all of this, it's almost like reading a legal document. It's like, what does all of this mean? Right? So I went to ChatGPT and I simply just asked ChatGPT to break that down for me. Right? Let me show you all what I pulled up. One sec. Because when you start reading all of that, a lot of it is jargon. That's what they call it, jargon. So let me show you all what I pulled up. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, so does this mean that this program helps students prepare particularly for things like mass powwowings on campus and things of that sort, or am I misunderstanding? It says you're partly right, but the scope of the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, CAI, is a lot broader than just active powwows on campus. It says it trains students to anticipate and prepare for complex emerging threats. This could include terrorism, cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, pandemics, geopolitical instability, biosecurity issues, and yes, mass violence events like powwowings. It's not a campus police or emergency response program. Instead, it's more like about strategic foresight, teaching students how to recognize patterns, analyze risk, and reduce vulnerabilities before crises happens. Practical application. Students are trained to work in fields like national security, intelligence, public health, tech industries, emergency management, and policy. The focus is on preventing or mitigating large-scale problems rather than just responding once they occur. Let me tell you all why this is important. Because for one, you got to remember Utah, I don't know if you all caught the live. Utah is one of the biggest hub spots for the CIA. Remember, the gentleman, what's his name? George Zinn, the older gentleman that said, I did it, shoot me now. Turns out that he's Mormon. It is a fact that Mormonism was founded under Freemason principles. That's public information. Anyone can Google that. Freemasonry, many of their founders and leaders, including Joseph Smith, was a Freemason. They boast and openly talk about this. Freemasonry runs rampant in the religion Mormonism, right? Did you know that the CIA has come out and admitted that they specifically target Mormons and Jesuit Catholics to recruit because of their ideologies? Do y'all follow me? Why is this important? Because it's important because this organization right here, the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, was started by CIA members. So let's pull that up. I like to be as transparent as possible. Let me pull it up with y'all. So let's see here. So I looked into who was the person that started this organization, and does this person have a background in the CIA? Who founded CAI, which is very similar to CIA, of course. It was co-founded by someone named Jeannie L. Johnson, Matt Barrett, and Brianna Bowen, right? Does the founder have a CIA background? Yes. Parts of the founding team, especially Johnson and Barrett, do have backgrounds in the CIA. Jeannie L. Johnson worked for the CIA as an intelligence officer in the Directorate of Intelligence, specifically on the Balkan Task Force from about 1998 to 1999. Matt Barrett had a long career at the CIA, retiring as an assistant director. Some of his roles included leadership in the Directorate of Analysis, Middle East, Near East, etc., in handling or managing analytic offices, among other senior positions. So let's make sure that we understand what's going on here. There's a program at Utah's University called the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, which in short is CAI, which is very similar to CIA. Two of the three founders of this organization has a history working for the CIA. And this program trains students in intelligence, right? So my theory here, or my question, is it possible? We need to figure out the names of these students first. But is it possible that these students are members? So the TPUSA chapter members from the Utah location stationed at this college, what is the likelihood that they are in this program, which was founded and is ran by CIA members? Right? That would further explain to me why you would get a reaction like this. Right? It would further explain to me why, when you have a student who's simply just trying to share what happened to him, instead he gets met with this reaction.
Standing from probably the third row in the bottom, I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
We're not doing this.
Get off me. Get off me.
Now, when you consider everything that I just showed you, now it makes more sense, or it could make more sense, or further explain why you would have students telling other students, don't talk to the media. If you've been watching Candace Owens' show, Candace Owens has said that as well. She keeps coming up on a lot of dead ends and people who are deleting their Instagram and their social media accounts or making them private, similar to what this kid did. Let me put it back on the screen. Excuse me. This kid came out himself and said they were told not to talk to the media. When you look up his social media, he's since deleted it. Why is no one from Turning Point USA speaking, testifying, giving their testimony? Why is no one? Right? The guy Andrew Covid, who I believe I've since confirmed, I believe he is the sunglasses guy, the sunglasses man. Why is no one from Turning Point USA speaking? What's going on? I think we have our answer. Many of them were told not to talk to the media. That's not suspicious at all. A situation that caught everybody off guard, that traumatized all of you. You don't want children and students to share what happened? The only thing that would make sense is if you had something to hide. That's not just about PR or, HR. You want to get the message out a certain way. No. You were a victim and a witness to someone that was pow-powed, right? Why are you not allowed to talk about it? Right? Yeah, that's crazy. WD-40, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Elaine, thank you so much for the $4 super sticker. Or WD-40, thank you for the super sticker. But I would like to read just a little bit more on this organization, actually. Let me pull it up. See, it doesn't even give you much. Like, that's all it says here. All of this word salad and jargon, when in, to me, this is just to me, this sounds like some sort of wraparound way for them to, it sounds to me, or it seems to me, I'm not even going to lie, like this is some sort of spy agency. It almost comes off like a government spy agency on campus, right? It almost comes off like this university is, quietly building a pipeline, into intelligence or surveillance networks, right? If you have a program that is very similar, is ran by ex-CIA members, and part of their training for their students is the idea of, quote unquote, anticipating threats. I mean, not that that's not a great idea on a college campus, obviously, for obvious reasons that would be, but I just find it suspicious in a place like Utah that's swarming with CIA members and Freemasons, that you have a program on your campus that's ran by open ex-CIA members, and this is the outcome. It just, the optics of it just does not look good. It does not look good. Right? Right? If you did not catch my live when I was talking about Mormonism and its ties to Freemasonry, I would highly encourage you to do so. I would highly encourage you to do so. Right? Yep. YouTube has been demonetizing my videos. They demonetized my last video as well, and I don't know. Someone said because I talked about a certain person that apparently you can't say his name on YouTube anymore. So I'm like, I said his name, and they demonetized my entire video. I challenged it or I audited it, but they doubled down on it. I don't know what that's about. Ever notice that Snowden spoke about secret agencies slowly building a list of people and agencies? It was back in 2013. Yeah, I definitely remember that when he came out and he was the whistleblower that talked about a lot of what the government was doing and how they're spying on us. I mean, this entire situation just reached, bro. Yeah, this is, when you consider all the, there's too much stuff here, right? There's just too much stuff here to where, like, I've just reached a decision that these people are so advanced, bro. They're so advanced. It's a reason why this happened in Utah. Let's just say that. It's a reason why they happened in Utah. Yeah, it's just odd, man. Like, y'all think I be wanting this stuff to be true? You think I want to think like this? You think I want to notice these things? Like, don't call me crazy for noticing, right? We got to figure out what this kid's name is. Like, so I'm gonna just ask you all, please, if anybody's able to figure out this kid's name, because apparently he's a UVU student, right? He's at that university because he's a part of the chapter. He's wearing a Turning Point USA member, chapter member shirt. So he's one of the students. The biggest question I have for him is, why are you stopping a random other member of TPUSA from sharing what he just saw? It just in line like what I was saying earlier before I digressed. It lines up with what Candace was saying. Why is Candace Owens the only person that's talking about this? That's saying that the FBI is clearly lying. Saying that this is not adding up. Why? How come when she is talking about her investigations, it's similar to what I'm finding? People who are closely in that little knit circle around Charlie Kirk when everything happened, you can't find their social medias, or they've deleted their social media, or they've made their social media private. None of them have come out and gave testimonies about what they saw, about what they heard. Frank Turek, the supposed pastor close to Charlie Kirk, claims that they tried to save his life. He said this on his podcast. They tried to save his life. And there was so much red liquid everywhere. Bro, where? Where, bro? Where, bro? It's nowhere. We watched the video, bro. Right? Frank Turek is also the person that said that they passed the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Where's your proof of that, bro? We never saw an ambulance. We don't have any proof that y'all went to any hospital. Why did y'all take the footage and you still haven't shown it to the public? What reason do you have for that? And then when you combine it with this kid's statement saying that they were told not to talk to the media. So you took the camera footage that was directly behind Charlie Kirk. You have not shown that to the public. The cameras that were the high definition expensive cameras that was right there in front of Charlie Kirk, we haven't gotten that footage either. None of you that was immediately around him, none of you have given testimonies. What's going on here? And finally, now you have people like PBD Podcast asking the obvious question. What's going on? What's really going on? That's how you have people like me who become what y'all would like to call radicalized to reach conclusions like, I don't believe that anybody lost their life that day. There's a reason why that girl was so calm in the red hat that we talked about. I'm not even going to play the clip because YouTube keeps flagging my videos. Hit the like button, everybody, as a reminder. Hit the like button, please. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. Sean, is it Shaper? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. I'm a pastor. Callie won this. Callie maybe. This whole country is corrupt. Republicans and Democrats both are Masonic. USA was founded on it. And you would coeptis to put into effect. Now you talking. Which reminds me, let me put this back up there. Now you talking. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat again, Sean. Then it says, in God we trust. Look up Egyptian falcon for Horus. It's the same as the eagle. Oh, I know. That's my Patreon content. I know, bro. It's demonic. All of it is demonic. It's not what we were taught, obviously. We are telling the world our mission on the paper we send to fund. We are a Masonic country, absolutely. Land of the free Masons. We are the land of the free Masons. Not just, what does that even mean? Land of the free. We are the land of the free Masons. Right? But I digress. Heck yeah. Yeah, I heard about this. $7,000 paid to influencers. I actually saw this post. I'm going to show y'all this post that was so funny. Let me see if I can find the post. Let's see. Matter of fact, I probably can pull it up here. Hold on. There was a post that was so funny. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know where it is. But heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, man. Crazy. Absolutely insane, man. Insane. But yeah, like it just continues. It's starting to make more and more sense to me now. It's starting to make more and more sense to me. Everything is. Everything is. Right? The Sparrow, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Didi, did you see the video of the mic battery under his shirt blew? It made his shirt puff out when it exploded. Then you don't see it anymore. See, this is my thing. The Sparrow, yes, bro, I definitely saw it. This is what's bothering me. Does no one find it weird that there are so many different things going on with this situation? What do I mean by that? We've analyzed the behavior of the people around Charlie Kirk. We got at least 8 people, and I'm probably being like light. We got 8 people around Charlie Kirk whose behavior was not that what you would expect for someone to behave in that scenario, including young people. They don't seem like they just witnessed something that just traumatized them for the rest of their life. When you just watching it in fast speed and you got actual innocent people who know nothing about nothing screaming and running for their life, that's one thing. But then when you slow it down, like we did a couple of lives ago, that YouTube flagged, and you actually pay attention to what everyone is doing that was on the team, it's undeniable. But then you got them claiming he was hit from the front. It's clear that didn't happen. That was an exit wound. So that means it would have to come from the right side of his body. But then you don't see any red liquid at any other point. Not just directly under the table when they're, assisting him, but even when they went to the video, we showed all of those clips. There's no proof of any of it. There's no red liquid anywhere. Right? You got eye behavior of the guy that was off to the side that had something in his hand, and he does this. And then he does it a second time, and then Charlie's body reacts. But then you also have the individuals with the device, those who have analyzed the device on Charlie's shirt. Many have said that it's a microphone, a Rhodes microphone, potentially. But the way that his shirt protrudes out, some have come out and said that it's almost consistent with some sort of something being detonated. Right? That is what some have said. I don't know. I've seen it. I just don't know what to think with that. I don't know what to think of it, because then they got from the far right side to Charlie's right to our left, up there in the window, they have the image of the flash coming from the window. Here's the problem with being in the age of AI. We just don't know what videos we're watching that have not been doctored, because unless we're looking at the metadata. If we look at the metadata, then maybe we're able to tell. That's fair. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're able to tell. But I don't know, man. One thing that is suspicious, though, that I want you all to keep in mind, Candace said this on her show, and I thought this was interesting too. When everything first happened, there were only a select few videos that went viral. So in other words, the video that I saw when everything first happened, and it brought tears to my eyes on camera because I accidentally saw it on Twitter, that video was maybe 1 or 2 or 3. That was the only videos that were circulating. I, like Candace, I would like to know who put those videos out. Who did they come from? Because once we started to see other angles, it started to contradict what we thought we saw originally, which says to me, narrative control. You gave us what you wanted us to see. Allegedly. Everything I say in this video is alleged. That's what I believe. You know? Joe Rockhead, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. They have definitely been doing these type of acts for a while. These people deal with Satan directly. I believe it. And the thing is, I don't know why that's so hard for people to believe. Because if you believe that God is real, from the scriptures, that is, then you got to know that you got to believe that Satan is real. Right? Why would this be hard for people to accept? That's my only thing. Difficult research. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Collab been researching Mormon sided since 2019 because my aunt is Lori Vallow and she unalived 3 members of my family. Oh wow. CIA involved in Idaho. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That sounds tragic. Are you asking to collab with me? If you would like to talk about Mormonism, if that's what you mean, by all means, feel free to email me, and maybe we can agree on something. I won't just give you my word. It just depends on how the conversation goes. My email is ddmotivates@gmail. The Sparrow, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I posted a video about the mic to the channel. Okay, I may have to go and check it out. The Sparrow. If that's the name of your channel, man, I'll check it out. Here, let me look you up right here, right now. The Sparrow. I'm not pulling you up. If you can just let me know what your channel name is, I'll definitely do it. Diva Fiddler, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. One thing is for sure, they, quote unquote, they are trying to lead us somewhere. It's up to us to not follow, to not get jabbed, to not get in lockstep with their plan. I agree. We were just talking about, what is it called? The strategy tension or something like that, which is similar to the Hegelian dialectic. This is another situation, whether you believe it's manufactured or not, whether you believe that he was unalived or not. What is undeniable is that laws have since been changed already. What did what's her name? Pam Bondi come out and say? We will target you for quote unquote hate speech. Let me see if I can pull that up. Just to remind everybody, this always happens.
Free speech, and then there's hate speech.
No.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
No. I was also talking to my buddy about this. Who gets to decide what hate speech is? There's no such thing as hate speech. What you're saying is, because remember, they have this conservative liberal paradigm, political binary. So that means depending on who's in office, they get to decide what wrong think is. There is no such thing as hate speech. I will fight to the death so that my worst enemy can be able to say whatever they want about me. They should be allowed in this country to say whatever they want about me. That's a basic human right, regardless of where you are in the world, but especially in America, where we have our Constitution. Remember, this is a conservative saying this. Lady, what do you... Crazy. Crazy. Sean Slepper, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Watch Barry Smith from New Zealand YouTube. New World Order teaching 666 elite the U.S. government, President, Cabinet, Supreme Court, Congress. Okay. Yeah, I'll write that down. Barry Smith. Heck yeah. Bet. I got you, Sean. Thank you so much for the plug. Is it Zazus? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Mr. Let Go covers how the quote-unquote injury may have been from an air-activated pellet gun activated on his shirt. He demonetizes. I saw somebody else told me to go check out his channel. I saw a couple of his videos. I will say though, he uses a lot of profanity. Not judging him, but what I'm saying is YouTube will censor that if you do that within like the first 2 minutes of your video. So maybe or maybe not. That's why they're flagging him as well. But I wouldn't doubt that they're flagging him simply because he's talking about this topic. Right? Why is no one from Turning Point USA questioning the narrative publicly? Why is anything and everything the FBI has said, they've just accepted it? Why does it appear to us, the general public, that they've moved on? They've kept the show on the road. Nothing else to see here. Keep it moving. You all, if anybody, should be questioning it more than we are. You know? So that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? It's wild, though. Very, very wild, man. Yeah. And remember, we're not talking about the Epstein files anymore. One of the biggest scandals in American history. Just like that, we're not talking about it anymore. Wild. Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. All Freemasonic principles. Right? But let me just say this, and I'm going to end the live, everybody. Look, if you can figure out what this kid's name is, please send it to me on Instagram. My Instagram and my social media can be found in the description. Please. Because we're already seeing CIA written all over this. We delved into the history of George Zinn, all the politicians that he's been tied to, the bombing situation, the his connection to 9/11, all these situations, right? His connection to the CIA. We broke all that down, right? And now we find out they also have a program at the University of Utah where they're training students by ex-CIA members. What is the likelihood that this guy and maybe the other TPUSA members are a part of this program? I say it's very likely. I'm not saying that it's automatic. I'm not accusing them of that automatically. There's a good chance. There's a good chance. How is it that we haven't heard from any of these people? His name is Jeff. What's his last name? Someone said his name is Jeff. What's Jeff's last name? Someone else said Jed. What do you mean? Is it Jed or Jeff? And what's his full name? Jed. Is that his full social media? Let me look it up. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. What's up? Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. That dude look closer to 30. And that's been weird. Listen, remember, Many of the people that have given testimonies that supposedly saw what happened that day, I think all but one have been non-college students. Everybody that's given testimonies, and who's to even say, this is something else to consider, who's to say that this person is even a student? What if he's just wearing a Trump hat and a Turning Point USA shirt to look as if, you know? We don't know that either. Right? Why is it that all those students out there, but most of the interviews we've seen are from people that weren't even students? What? How come we not hearing from the students? Let your discernment guide you. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Mr. Custom Designs, you spot on with that one. Amen. By the grace of God. Sean, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Frank T is dirty. I think Candace is playing both sides. Who treats a crime scene like this? Why did the FBI fumble so bad? Starved it. I can't read that last part. This is what I will say, though. Sean, love the comment. I'll say that. But as far as Candace Owens, I've said it before. I don't want to, and I don't mean to just keep repeating this. We'll know more if Candace Owens refuses to talk about Erica Kirk and she refuses to talk about the other elephant in the room, which is what's going on with the no red liquid on anyone. Why is no one giving any testimonies about what they saw other than Frank and Erica? And Erica, to my understanding, wasn't even out there. We've already exposed Erica. Candace is pretending like she don't see all these viral videos about Erica Kirk. Okay, fine. You know? Give her time with Erica. I think that's someone else's job. What does that mean? I'm actually going to show a little bit of grace. I understand what you can mean, being that she's so close to them, being that she know these people in real life. But, I mean, here's the problem, though. If you're going to place yourself in the position of trying to figure out what really happened, and you're receiving backlash from Turning Point USA members, the pastor, one of Charlie Kirk's close friend who was a pastor, criticized. I wish I could pull that up. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can pull it up. Think I found it. Okay, I'm going to pull it up. Watch this, y'all. Tell me if this is not crazy. It says, from Charlie Kirk's pastor, Rob McCoy to me just now for Candace Owens. Please help me get this out. Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. A friend loves at all times. Proverbs 17:17. And then this person threw in a Bible verse. What am I? Y'all, I'm missing something here. Something happened to Charlie Kirk. His friend is trying to figure out the truth because the FBI seems to be lying and there's all these gaps. You come out as the pastor and say she's being disgraceful, a disgrace to the family and disrespectful to the family. What am I missing here? How? She's trying to figure out the truth for her friend. Why are none of you all speaking about it? Why are you all not calling out the FBI? Why? Why? Sheree McKim, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Britt Hodson Times, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. God is definitely giving you eyes to see the truth in a world of lies and deception. Keep it up, my dear. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I love your profile picture. Sean, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's all in front of us. We ignore it, even that one state. I love those people and the country. But like the US dollar bills, the star is in front of our eyes. It's undeniable. Why is Patel at a fight and not doing his job? Man, these people are all shills. Shills. I just started watching your video so far. I like what you're putting out there. Thank you. Princess of the Trails, I appreciate that big time. Oh, wait. The last question to Hunter asked Kirk, Kim, and Jed Jacobs are on the 60-minute interview. The volunteers for Turning Point. Look it up. Did you hear it? Get it. Jed Jacobs. No. I didn't know this. But I'll look this up immediately after this, and I'll give you all my thoughts. If he interviewed, I'd love to know what he said. Heck yeah. But all right, y'all, I'm going to log off. I don't want to make this too long. I've been almost an hour and a half. That's crazy. Time flies. Love y'all, man. Be safe. Be blessed. Pray for everyone mentioned in this video, including myself. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm Demetrius. I go by D. Until next time. Peace.